trendsetters. Welcome back to another episode. You right there, Charlie? Good boy. Don't get too wet, mate. I got a young little fella just down there. Not over keen on the water, but anyway. Now, jet setters, welcome back to another episode, and thanks for tuning in. This episode goes back 400, no, it doesn't go back 400 years, it goes back 184 years, and it's about a Dutch ship and over 400 Chinese migrants coming to Australia. It's all with a little bit of a twist. And the ship is called the Koning Willem de Tweed. That's the full name of the ship. And on this ship, there's a Swede, get this, there's a Swede with the name of William Matheson. But his father was Scottish and his mother was Swedish. Anyway, I was just trying to set the scene, you guys. Now, you jet setters, the Koning Willem de Tweed, I'll say the full name of it a couple of times just so you understand. It was built back in 1840, or I should say, it was built in the Netherlands, and it was launched on Tuesday, the 8th of December, 1840. And I'll put up all this paraphernalia about it, how big it was. It's like 42 metres long, 11.9 wide with 4 metre draft on it. I'll put all that down below. Our journey, geez, I tell you now, the marsh fires are pretty busy on the beach here today. Anyway, our journey, bloody things. Anyway, I'll just spin you around and give you a little bit of viewing here while I'm talking. Got the squeeze walking along the beach with me. It's a beautiful day down here in Robe. Anyway, now our journey really starts in the early parts of 1857. I was going to say June, but that's maybe not quite true. Where the Koning Willem leaves Hong Kong, fully loaded with various types of cargo, with a full crew and over 400 Chinese. This is as the records tell us. And on Monday, June 15, 1857, the Koning Willem sailed safely into Port Robe. And as history tells us today, the Koning Willem would never ever leave. Anyway, when doing this research on the Koning Willem, I got some records saying over 400 Chinese embarked and 397 disembarked. Now, I reckon that's a story for another day, so we'll leave that as it is. All passengers disembarked the next day, and most of the Chinese did not know they still had 400 of barrow pushing, foot slogging, blister popping kilometres ahead of them. They did not know. Or if they did, they must have thought it would be okay. But that's as history tells us. History tells that is written. It'll take them about 2 weeks to go from here in Robe at Guichen Bay to the Victorian goldfields, Ballarat, Ararat, Bendigo, those sort of places. You know, some of the Chinese, most of them would make it, but some wouldn't make it. Some would fall ill health along the way. Some would say enough's enough. And the story goes on a fair bit here, but I won't go into it. But some were really, really good carpenters, good builders, market gardeners. And some stopped along the way, Penola, into Mount Gambier, into Millicent, along the way. And I think, if my memory serves me correctly, there's over 2,000 Chinese migrants come through the Port of Robe 184 years ago. And some of the builders, craftsmen of the Chinese, they would have to stop. I wouldn't have to, but they stopped along the way to build wells. Met up with other Chinese who landed in Adelaide, Port Adelaide, and then they decided to walk down here to Robe, then their 400 kilometre trek across to the Victorian goldfields. History tells us that all the Chinese, and it doesn't matter who you were, they would actually stop or slow down and help each other. They would push somebody else's barrow. They would carry somebody else or carry their belongings. That is written, that is true. So camaraderie and comradeship in amongst the Chinese was very, very high. Some of the Chinese, they stopped to help build, gather rocks, like I said before, build or dig wells for water for future Chinese to come through. They'll build huts, houses, pubs, or inns, what they called back in them days, I suppose. Some were told, if you don't help build this house of mine, I'll dob you into the authorities. That is written. So it's, anyway, you get the idea. We'll leave that there for the moment with the Chinese. After everyone disembarked, the ship wasn't able to leave. So for the next 14 days, the seas sound like it was a car accident. No, I'll start again. After the passengers disembarked, for the next 14 days, the seas slowly but surely rose, getting worse and worse and worse. The ship couldn't leave because of the bad weather coming in and what was coming. On Tuesday, the 30th of June, 1857, the weather got that bad, well actually they say it was gale force winds come through, blew the shit out of everything. Absolute pummeled the coastline. It was that bad, it dragged the Koning Willem off its moorings, dragged its anchor from right over there in the distance and pummeled it, lifted up the anchor, crews going here and there and everywhere to tie it off to other stanchions. It was that bad. that it broke the Samson pole, or the stanchion, or the windlass, whatever you like to call it. That's where you tie the anchor up to. Broke it from the deck of the boat, the ship. Just tore it away, and eventually it's coming out. So it dragged the ship and its anchors, tearing the Samson pole from the deck. So the captain and the crew decided to try their best and sail the boat into shallow waters and try and save it. Now, with all good intentions, it failed. After the ship ran aground, the seas were and the swell was that big. Slowly but surely, the 800-ton frigate slowly but surely broke up. 16 crew members lost their lives on that day. It'd been horrific. 9 survived. The captain was dragged, bloodied, belted up by the falling off the boat, I dare say, and cut, nearly drowned evidently. They dragged him from the water. He ended up surviving, which is a good thing. Among the surviving members, there was this Swedish man, the carpenter. He got a job on the Koning Willem back in 1857. His name was Mr William Matheson, my great-great-grandfather. Now, when the opportunity arose for the remaining crew to go back to Sweden or wherever they're going to, everyone was on board, and my great-great-grandfather said no. And so he jumped off and swam ashore, as the story tells us. And he went with the Victorians, he went with the Chinese into Victoria over that 400 kilometres. He eventually came back to a little town near Millicent called Mount Muirhead. And he met up with this, well, put it another way, he married Robert Mcleod from Isle of Skye, Dunvegan Castle, Scotland. He met up with his daughter, Catherine Mcleod, which is my great-great-grandmother. A little bit more about the Chinese. Now, my wife's ancestors are Chinese. Plot thickens, hey? Here a little while back, the misso and myself, we take off to Bendigo for a few days on a little bit of a mission to go to the museum. If anyone hasn't been to that museum, I urge them to go and have a look at it. It's not too bad. But we spent a full day in that museum, eventually ending up where we wanted to be, and that was in the Chinese side of things. Now we're looking through all the artefacts up and down the walls and in awe of everything, how they survived coming across, and going through all the archives. And then the wife noticed some names she's familiar with. One of them was her own mother. So as we read on, and we did a lot of reading, her ancestors come into Australia in mid-1857 on the Koning Willem. Just the story that I thought I would tell you. Geez, that water's cold. Yeah, the little port of Robe Town. And I was also talking to my brother about memoirs of our great-great-grandfather. Wouldn't it be great to be fantastic to be able to read their memoirs, if they had any, of what happened, you know, that 184 years ago? Wouldn't it be fantastic to read about our ancestors as they stepped on the boat? And he said yes. I said to him, well, we have that opportunity right now. So this is in legacy of my future grandkids, a little bit about my great-grandfather's, their history. From the Isle of Skye, Dunvegan Castle, to a Swedish. My great-grandfather sailed around the world 2 times, I've been led to believe, or 2 big trips, as the stories tell, as it is written, to getting off in Robe. The ironic thing about all this, because the Chinese helped so many people and everybody helped everybody else along that foot-slogging, blister-busting bloody trek they would have done, building inns and stuff like that. My great-great-grandfather more than likely helped, spoke with my wife's ancestors. The probability of that is extremely high. I just thought I'd tell you the story. Hope you liked it. Please give us a thumbs up if you liked it, and a thumbs down if you didn't. Leave a comment, please. And we'll see you in the next episode. Who knows what I might get into. Start your own memoirs. See you, jet setters.